We've been scorned before.
We have been heard in the past.
But the question is, does it translate, right? They've had a fantastic run to get here. I don't think really anybody can take anything away. I mean,
no.
I was saying a couple of weeks ago, Mixwell's been on one of the best redemption arcs in terms of returning to this roster. This is the next step. This has to be the next achievement for them.
And I do want to eventually lean on that Avova choice coming in, but I do like seeing Mixwell, leaning in towards Chamber, something that really looks to suit him. However, we dive into the map, and we look towards ZETA, who are on the attacking side, to kick things off on split, and of course that means that G2 will be on the defense. And the first blood is drawn straight away. Already Nuki's gone down, and the site's already under contest. Now there's one left there. It's going to be Avova, someone that we do want to talk about, especially on this Omen. And he's managed to stand his ground. Now outnumbered, but not quite outgunned just yet. There we go. Finally overwhelmed with a double swing on the pillar. And it looks like this should be under wraps. It's still heavily contested, though.
Crow very low. Depth trying to contest some of this pressure coming through from heaven.
Spike planted.
Hoodie not actually able to catch Depth. Foam says it's a 2v3 though, but if they can find this freebie on the way in, it might be doable here for G2.
They're so close to pillar though, they could potentially swing off contact. But again, it's looking hard to try and break through. Do they isolate? One they do. Okay, there's the flash. No swing, no punish. There's still a chance in this 2v2, but time still click. Oh, right click galore. The swing out from Laz. The main man himself going to kick things off well for ZETA, who's been a highlight player from start to finish. Now let's kind of roll back to what we were saying at the start here about G2 as well. Good first beginnings for ZETA there in that,
Well, we've got a little bit of time to talk about it, I guess.
Fantastic, good news. Nice to know we're back. All right, we got teased by the perfect start, however, it's fine. Talk to me about Avova here, because there's something about him on the Omen that instantly catches your eye.
Yeah, it is. And again, this adjustment kind of incorporating Brimstone previously into this comp. I don't want to say it looked awful for them, but just in terms of kind of the stylistic approach that Avova has to the game, particularly G2, how much variety there is to kind of defensive protocols. One of the big things, and I know could just touched on this on the desk, is kind of allowing G2 to lean on kind of playing reactively, right? These one-ways really cut off either lane, and unfortunately, more often than not, results in being punished if you do challenge it. But that's where Avova has really, really shone for G2. So I actually like this adjustment back. It also kind of leans on the attack being a bit more all-in, which is something that's interesting.
Okay, your endpoint there and even just the wording reactive. Now, how does this play towards ZETA? Because these guys, I mean, you can't help but love their journey so far, right? You can't help but be enamored by the firepower they have, that raw capability that has been so apparent in their early games. How does this now match up with someone like G2? Let's say hypothetically how their style works. How does that kind of, I guess, go head to head?
I mean, the unfortunate thing for ZETA is that I think G2 have looked best, but they play with bravado. They're bullies, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
they've been mean mugging on the way out.
If you poke the beast in the server, that's when G2 kind of just take things back to being chaotic and unorthodox, and unfortunately G2 actually do thrive in those sorts of scenarios. So that's a real concern. I mean, just coming back to the VCT as well, I know that this was discussed on the desk, but this for me needs to be ZETA in 2.
Really?
For me.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you're right. Considering what Icebox lost.
Yeah, because that is literally just bully gameplay for G2.
Give people context, right? Let's say they don't watch EMEA. Let's talk about some of the victims that have fallen foul to that G2 approach on Icebox, right? Like, how many teams... Like, I don't think there's many that have actually stopped that almost belligerent approach, right? It's so almost ignorant to anything that people are willing to do. It's just headstrong play the whole way.
There is absolutely no flair to how G2 play Icebox.
Nothing pretty.
It's just vanilla. They literally just brute force their way onto a site, and they make no secrets about it. No. And the problem being actually was, I guess, the lack of adjustment in terms of their opponents, but whether or not ZETA Division are going to be the direct, I guess, counterpart to that, the opposite side to that, I'm not entirely sure.
So okay, on paper, right? Let's tech pauses take some time, so we're gonna just waffle. So chill out, guys. When we're back in game, you can unmute us. I take no offense. However, let's kind of then talk about on paper where we see this. So if it goes all three, you'd say G2 because of Icebox. Now, do you see a reality? Because I do. And normally I'm, the boring one who's going to sit there and be like, I don't really care about Cinderella stories, but I do see a world where ZETA could win this. Like, in 2.
I hope Bren is smiling when he hears this, because I've literally been the only one in the green room that's just like backing these guys, even blindly. I just don't. They have to take split, which I think is going to be really difficult. If they don't, they then have to take bind, which also the desk touched on has been another stomping ground for G2.
Yeah, it has been.
And then you just look at it and it's like icebox. And again, it's, taking into consideration yesterday, there's an argument to be made, but I still don't necessarily feel confident about that.
They're still the underdog.
Yes.
Right, that's a simple fact of the matter. An incredible run though, and it's something you have to pay to mind, and we've already seen how far that can go. Crew, right, have already proven in droves how far one of those performances can get you. So again, it is possible, and G2 are coming in cold, right? Like, this is the first time they're on the stage. Yeah. This is it. It's, hey, welcome to the big leagues. I hope you don't mess it up.
ZETA have already run the gauntlet to get here, right? So they're almost kind of, yeah, they're fired up. So that's a definite positive for them. And also, actually, comes back to almost questioning whether or not G2's performance will translate to land, right? This is the first stage environment, and it's the first big test for them.
Deep breaths, we go back in. First round was picked up by ZETA if you missed it. Obviously you can't see it there, don't worry. Don't have to explain the UI to you. This time we haven't. Unlucky Doug. However, not quite a Shiko. A little bit of an upgrade on Hoodie, but that's about all she wrote. And we look towards ZETA in this round too. Again, keep it simple, keep it clean, keep as much up for them, but they are walking into a stack. 4 players here. Caught one. Beautiful work. Quick work.
10.
Straight through them. That's enough. You don't have to go too far. Wait for the rest of your team to come in and help you out. Nice. Reserve there. Hold for a second. Don't over push. Keep 5 standing. That's the money. As now Meadow, well, the team's just been slaughtered, haven't they? So Meadow now just having to face the music. If he can take one with him, not too bad. Do the best you can. But ZETA are being smart about this. Do lose depth. Sugar0 next, and there we go. Swing together, full stand, lovely work. I mean, not even that big a deal. I think Depp was the only one that actually brought a pistol into that round. Yep. So, look, going to be a massive win for G2 there. And pretty clean on the way in. I mean, it's 10 just leading the charge for ZETA. The clearance with the Trailblazer onto Ravova, just trying to play back of that paranoia, but no real resistance on the way in, so you've got to credit ZETA for that. Beautiful.
We've seen him again actually lean pretty heavily towards A. Previous round was a 4-man stack for G2. Well, ZETA actually going to try and make use once again with the element of surprise, I guess. Mixwell's here to challenge it with the TP, though. The fault line will slow the Trailblazer.
That works.
Flash and space taken, though. ZETA aren't waiting around, and that's sloppy from Mixwell. It's not pretty, but it's got the job done.
They also didn't shoot his TP. They could have just kind of boxed him into hell there, and a little strange on the way in.
Yeah, not ideal. Still got a little bit of ramp pressure to build from, but again, rotations have come in. There's already 4 players here. Mixwell's fallen back, taking a heal. He'll be fine. Recovery en route. So some chip damage comes off this nade. Nothing there. And ZETA don't have much to work with on this approach now. They're looking towards middle in my mind as well as how much can they get from this. The wall's still in place, so that's really not going to allow too much wiggle room here. But they have to hit the brakes, and again, punishment. Mixwell's going to find another. And that mid presence, well, not really coming to much either.
Sugar's found space, though. I mean, there's a trap for him to deal with. Still 3 players committed towards 8. Actually will get dealt with 10. That will allow Sugar0 to come through. Actually will find the kill on Nookie.
There's that crunch I was waiting for, that pause. I really like this from ZETA. They're not just kind of like, okay, it's only a bonus, we'll see what we can do. But this is really with build intent and aggression. Pushing deep towards CT, going to take down Mixwell, but there's still Meadow on the site. He's got 2 players to handle. He chooses the wrong target. It's game back on 2v2. Spike in hand and plant going down.
They still got a wall.
We now have... Oh my god, they do. Yeah, they absolutely do. Okay, wall goes up. Just build the defenses and they wait. We've got a Vova and Hoodie on the other side, waiting to come back through on this. Still utility into play for a Vova if he feels like he can, and this looks good. Should have at least caught minimum 1, potentially 2. Gets him off that first angle, forcing him back towards the site. Hoodie now spotted as well. A Vova leans in. Hoodie with the punish on 1. It's all down to 10. He's got to find 2. 1 to the left, 1 to the right. He's got 1. 7 HP ain't enough for it. The Vova holds on, but that's a bonus round, and that ain't a great one for G2.
And I'm going to be honest, they had absolutely no right finding that plant, to be honest. Perfect play. The awareness again from 10 to throw that blast back out, deals with the trap. It pulls actually Nookie into the window to be forced to face Sugar when he comes up from ropes. This is actually really, really well played. I love, again, the use of the wall to just create a second choke point here on site. It's unfortunate Vova finds this wall bang. A little bit of damage comes through onto 10 initially, so really difficult. But that, for me, is a big, big win for ZETA. I mean, you can see what's happened to the purchase here. Mixwell will have the tour de force to throw into this round, but ZETA come out of that on top, to be honest. And look at the ultimate progress as well.
And we've only really seen the A pieces coming out so far from ZETA, so we haven't seen the full kit and caboodle of what they can bring, so we'll wait to see the rest of this now.
First example we're seeing of some of these early round protocols I was talking about. It's one way outside B main, at least to get deep B main control here. See how much ZETA respect the setup of Avova, whether or not he's even tested in the scenario.
It looks like for now ZETA are prioritizing that mid-control time to build. They've invested a great deal of utility to get this far. Dog goes in and actually with a little bit of pace as well, and G2 seeming to respect that. They seem to have to. Oh, the shot, the control, but Mixwell there to fill the void. Eats the flash, has to back off the angle. ZETA are brawling on this.
Mixwell will come back across the B, but drifting away now. ZETA look as if they want to try and make their way through ropes once again. Meadow on the other side of this. He's actually holding an active angle as well. Nuki has come across. Let's see if ZETA can actually isolate the kill here. Mixwell's the one, if anything, but it looks like A is the end goal here.
Yeah, the pinch is coming in. You can see them all the way back. And it's not good enough. Meadow's down, dead, quick. And Nuki, though, behind enemy lines. He's going to find one spot out the barrel. Can't get the spray adjusted in time as Laz picks up the frag. You're looking towards Avova and Mixwell. Mixwell not quite there yet, but Avova still holding his own. Support not coming anytime soon. Avova still needs to play his life here. 15 seconds. The clock's the biggest enemy right now for ZETA as Avova punishes from the site.
Goes huge for them there. And two crucial kills. Again, after ZETA, I'm going to be honest, I don't know if that was just a split second where Meadow's looking at his minimap, but completely caught off guard from Roach Peak. Fortunate there for ZETA not to find it. Again, a couple of them were tagged up. They're already damaged early on in the round, so Avova cleans that up nicely. Nearly caught off guard with the paranoia, to be honest with you. There's a second. Well, I thought he was going to throw that out and get swung anyway.
Now, to me, though, seeing Avova playing like this so far is a good indicator for G2. Because I still think, to me, on Omen specifically, Avova is one of the most clutch players you can see, right? He can get them out of dodge. He can get them out of danger. I'd still say, you know, you got your Nukia there who's mad, right? The guy's got ridiculous talent, like firepower. Like, yeah. But if you have like a 1vX, I want Avova in it.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, he's actually been quiet along G2's run to get here. It's I was always going to say, you know, once every blue moon he'll have that round that he just has absolutely, it's almost like, you know, fool me. It's like the big bad wolf for G2.
Yes.
But that's the thing. I mean, if you put him in that clutch scenario, and there's quite often you say, yeah, this is an Avova round almost to say.
On the other side though, early timeout for ZETA here. Now their money has been depleted. They'll be down to sheriffs and maybe light armor or two, but that's about it. Ult cycle coming through quite nicely though. They're one round off essentially from having the full deck if they want to run it. On the other side, not too dissimilar honestly. Mixwell just obviously invested his, so similar scenes across the board.
Yeah, and ZETA come into this though with a showstopper to work with. Something that could be pivotal in this round with not an awful lot of equipment to throw at it. Let's see here if we see any variety here. Actually a completely different setup on the defense from G2. It's Avova and Nuki over here, expecting this one way. That's exactly what's going to come out. Avova should just tuck up here. Oh, Nuki to take first contact. The wall invested actually immediately here on the back of no contact towards bottom mid. Now, weird thing being, I mean, ZETA haven't poked towards either side just yet. Straight away they set up in this default, they don't really show anything. And then we'll drift towards B main.
Yeah, it'll be Mixwell and Meadow. And of course then Hoodie up towards heaven. And, well, no subtlety to this, and no check to the left. Good trade though, Crow still going to get the job done. Finds Mixwell, Meadow. Going to disrupt at least a little bit of their plan, but you can see the Rares actually coming through here. They are not going into this by any half measures, but there's still problems. G2 are on the site, and this could be another issue if that just gets posted. None the wiser, still gets it, Meadow down. But look at Hoodie waiting. Spike's already on the site though. Seeker's going to come down, and Depp on the other side of this. What does Hoodie do? Too many targets, too little time. He needs to do something about it. That's Seeker just a second away. The wall breaks. And now they all know where he's at. Sugar Zero going to find Avova, and you're going to be looking at what's remaining, and it ain't much. Nuki and Hoodie. This is ridiculous. The divide as well.
Sugar slipped through spawn as well. Again, they've completely mitigated the risk from this judge.
It was there for so long. Yeah, Nuki's found one, and there's still a chance this could all fall, but they have so many bodies on the site, and look at that Crow playing the wall perfectly. There's no chance here, there's no shot at it. And the one thing I'll say about ZETA right now is they are playing every round like they have 100% chance in it. I love watching this side play so far. We've seen a really nice bonus round from them, and we've now seen pretty much a very small upgraded amount with a lot of ults behind it coming into play and converting the round.
Absolutely. I mean, the showstopper's available. You could argue Mix was a little greedy there. Finds the first opportunity to TP out, and he actually double dips. That's just, you know, feeling that it is a thrifty round. There's not an awful lot of equipment to work with, but ZETA absolutely make that work when they had absolutely no right even getting through B main. The setup were there. G2 were ready to greet that very push.
And look at the money on the back of it. Look at that. Shatters the money for G2 so quickly. The way that ZETA are playing this, I can't help but love, because so many teams we see time and time again just kind of not necessarily throwing away thrifties, or, you know, the bonus rounds are just not quite high on the priority list, but watching them play this, they have such intent to it, and you can't help but respect that. And Nuki cares not. He's gone for a walkabout in middle, and the timing, unfortunate for Crow, does get confirmation, but does he know how close that they've crept?
At least they're going to respect it. I mean, G2 just as deadly in terms of converting thrifty rounds, we know that from EME8. Again, ZETA with this very slow creep. Similar sort of time, and actually G2 going to put the wall up. This is the sort of protocols that, yeah, we've been talking about. That's going to be walking into a four-man stack here. ZETA, actually, I mean, this window of opportunity closed now.
Yeah. 10's getting punished. Good timing from Hoodie to take that swing on the slow. Nuki up above. Ult to hand, has to deliver it eventually. Nothing on the other side, and ZETA may be feeling like, well, we've walked into a bit of a trap here, boys. This could be pretty problematic.
Depth now to follow through on this, but Nuki again just has to play deep. Mixwell actually in a pretty interesting spot here, and he's actually going to backstab onto Lance. He finds a second as well. Depth will fall. G2. I mean, I called it just as deadly in a thrifty round. They managed to flip this one back, and somehow, some way, ZETA stumbled. Like I said, that window of opportunity was there for a couple of seconds, but it just passed. I mean, the showstopper gets popped here. There's a slow orb. One of Mixwell's trap goes off. There's no way they can progress through main. So
nice. This
G2 are so good for those crunches, though. Like we said, they post up, they feel nothing in mid, the wall goes up, it doesn't get challenged, nobody's shooting at the wall. They know that they can just gamble stack either way. Unfortunately, G2, they're good gamblers.
They certainly are.
Spike down mid.
And already going to get the first pick here, 10 gone. This mid control that ZETA have been prioritizing is now being battled for. Nuki is not backing down. And you do not want to get this man started. Nuki is one of the most dangerous players out there. Depth, though, looking sharp. But the timing too good for Nuki. Not going to give it up. And now just Laz, superstar in the making himself. There's an isolated fight against Avova. And you can see the aim still good. But the spike a mile away. And 3 more enemies for him to locate.
I mean, G2 have a little bit of a buffer converting their previous thrifty, so damage not so important here. And Laz already got his ultimate online, so whether or not he's just going to try and hold on to this or force a couple of repurchases.
Oh.
He's walking into Meadow, and Nuki, though, they're already posted up waiting for this. Last round, I mean, Nuki popped his ult in the last round. He's already 3 away from another. That's the sort of thing, you tilt G2 in a couple of rounds, they bite back immediately. Immediately.
And I think this is what you said at the very start of the game, though, is that they have this capability. And we saw the fact that ZETA pushed them to that very early on. I think the conversion and the danger in a couple of these rounds that they maybe didn't expect there to be so much danger in has awoken them a little bit. G2 now need to bring a little bit of a higher game plan maybe than, not necessarily they'd expect, but they are being forced into doing it right back to them. Convert those thrifties, be dangerous in every single round.
Could be a turning point as well, because Mixwell now has the operator online. Be him and Avova to hold down a site, and actually looking as if he's going to swing on. He didn't actually spot the cross from 10. We'll respect it. Well, he's a little scarred from that previous thrifty round where he was a little greedy. Doesn't want to give up the operator now.
Ooh, that was a pixel shown. Laz is closing in. Now there is looking up towards heaven as well, though.
Meadow just hesitated with that util.
How much of a problem can he be from this position?
Laz has timed this to perfection, by the way, on his Toxin.
Like, I feel like he knows something's up. He knows there's a chance, right? There's that percentage chance this could happen. I'm seeing the rotation coming in. They're slowly leaning back around towards middle. You can see the spike coming over back towards B.
Well,
Meadow's not liking it.
They have to be paranoid because this is the first alteration of the Viper setup, right? So they're up to something, surely. Do they clear out backside, though? That's the question.
I feel like you need contact to look at Meadow, though, going for a different angle. He really wants to clear backside, but he's so paranoid about someone waiting, which they are. You can see that Laz is just being a nuisance, being a problem to clear. And if you can facilitate more players coming in like this, game on. And okay, there's the first creep coming through. The ult gets popped. He's waited for this, and there it is. Safe passage towards the site. Meadow no longer has vision, but Hoodie doesn't need it. Spike going down, Mixwell's found depth, and we have 3 standing on the other side for ZETA. What can they do from this position, though? They have the cover, but Hoodie's got the read straight through the Viper's ult. The ult comes in as well, going to disrupt further, make problems for Hoodie, but he's vulnerable. He's looking damage. Laz and Crow have just found 2. Crow's still standing, doing the damage, doing the dodge. He couldn't make it out of the way of Nookie. Is now Laz in a 1v3, surely not going to happen. 1, no more. No more. This is terrifying, Mike. This is terrifying.
It's another round where ZETA have nothing to work. Not even that time of the showstopper. They have nothing but the Viper Spit. And Laz, like I said, he timed that to perfection. It was literally down to the last tick of the Toxin Orb. Gets into backside. You can see how paranoid Meadow is of exactly that. And ZETA still make G2 work for it. Even with the awareness, the possibility that somebody's done exactly what Laz has done.
This game is going to be a good one. I hope we go all 3 now. I mean, I really hope we go all 3.
I was talking about bravado from G2. They actually showed a lot of respect to ZETA there, which is something that's very rare with anybody that G2 plays. Again, looking to contest some of this early mid control. Let's see what the next step is here. Hoodie already drifting away towards A site. Again, this default is so deep. It's almost this. Yes, they're not giving anything away, but they're not really creating any pressure towards G2, so they can just run through the motions.
Generally, those motions are allowing them to get those early rotations to the correct places as well. This mid pressure coming out from Nookie's been great for those early reads. You've seen him lingering around in sewers early, kind of hitting it wherever he needs to. But Mixwell's still on this one. Substantially deeper angle. Last time, of course, posted up towards ramp. Looks like he's looking for a new spot as well here. 48 seconds now. Your trail. The Seeker's coming through. Another point to deal with. They have taken ramp in the meantime. Forced to TP out. Mixwell actually tucked towards the site. This could be dangerous. Nookie, though, reads this perfectly. Still gets 1. Still good for 1, but look at this misdirection and the adjustment back. Meadow, he's on the other side. Meadow, I think he's on the other side of this wall. He can still walk through this.
Is the wall broken? The wall's at a bad angle.
Laz might have just saved that. Laz might have just saved ZETA this round just with that 1 pick because that was so potentially deadly. Spike going down, uncontested, nothing to be seen with that. It's Avova and Mixwell on the way back in, and Avova's first fight is up towards heaven. He succeeds. Laz is now removed, but look at the damage coming through as well. Has to take a second. 65 HP to work back in with. 1 tuck towards backside, still 1 up on the rafters too. Avova has to clear this. The timing's gorgeous. Takes down another 2v2 now. Mixwell's still got the operator. It's going to be tough to handle. A quick pop flash, but it's a trade out. And now it's just on Mixwell. How does he try and remove this player? He has to be so quick with it. And the peak, they're not falling for this. And the time gets bought here. The utility coming through so nicely. Mixwell again just being toyed with. The time is dwindling, the shot goes astray, and the round is ZETA's.
What a round. What a crazy... Again, Avova winning a duel that he absolutely shouldn't have. Laz already saved the round in terms of allowing safe passage to site. And again, I think there's actually a little bait and switch there from Mixwell, even just throwing down a couple of footsteps to allow that kill to come in onto depth on rafters.
Yeah.
This was great. Meadow. This is the smallest pocket created by that wall. Really well played by ZETA. Again, they're showing a lot of, I'll be honest, versatility in terms of making use of this. I'm going to keep calling it a default. It's kind of weird because they're kind of just holding, anticipating this aggression. I mean, I'm not seeing the exact intention with it, and whether or not G2 are just not digging as deep as they usually do, but
Sure.
with this switch back onto over onto Omen, I don't think that's the game plan. They're looking for this kind of control and slowing things down early on. So the important thing to note is as well, Laz's Viper setup towards A actually denies one of these one-ways, so they can't punish that cross from the orb towards ramp, which makes it really difficult, right? Whether or not G2 actively look to address that, have to wait and see, or whether or not actually the adjustment comes through, they start pressuring towards ramps and put the deeper one-way and just hold it initially from that spawn cross towards steps. But that's something that's, I don't want to say it's testing G2 just yet until I see a massive switch up in terms of the setup on defense. But yeah, ZETA have found a couple of rounds now where, I'll be honest, they're not really giving too much away in terms of G2 running through looking for contact in mid and whatnot, and they're still succeeding. G2 usually right place, right time for them on split.
Yep, absolutely. It's quite hard to characterize this game, I think, because G2 have looked okay in most of the rifle rounds. I just look at ZETA as being just constantly deadly. And it scares the life out of me because part of you sits back and you can't cruise against them. You just simply cannot sit into anything other than 100% at all times. But look who's going for a walkabout. Mixwell.
Now this is a little deeper.
Yeah, this is different. Now he did this before, not with the operator. Yeah,
Sugar spotted him as well?
Seen.
What?
He's been seen. Mixwell has to back away. Gonna get his ult for it. He has to slip off this now.
And this is what I'm talking about. I keep talking about his default. Look how deep he's actually spotting out Mixwell.
Yeah.
And again, it's almost baiting G2. It's like, yeah, we know you want to push. We know you want to push us.
Yeah, and they've been running these late game rounds at like 40 seconds, 30 seconds, and they look quite comfortable. It's not like it looks like they're running out of time. They're going through a very valid protocol list, and they've now taken away B main back from what was G2 control back into their hands, but they haven't fully given away what the game plan is. But this does allow for potential things to go wrong, right? Let's say you go for that late lean towards A, how do you clear a over cleanly, right? Let's say you don't do that, okay, we're going potentially blind into a 3-play stack now. So there's a couple of things that could still go wrong. We're down to about 30 seconds, and it could be this A piece now.
There's no trap for ropes here. Nuki and Avova are stacked towards the orb.
Left.
I do want to see how well this gets handled, though, because there's a problem if... there's no problems, apparently, but they didn't expect Avova being the second string to this, but there's the only one here. 20 seconds, though. They need to start dealing with getting towards that spike on site. I said there weren't many problems, but Avova can be a problem. Laz gets found, and we're down to 13 seconds. They've got to make the move and make it fast. 10 seconds now. TP!
No way,
He gets caught! Sugar Zero pushes forward. 6 seconds now. The spike's on the side, and they've got to get the plant. Rez comes in. They are back on their feet. It's a 3v3. Meadow a little further ahead of the others, so he's got to be careful to not go out on his own. The punishment. Crow's got him dead to rights. And now Mixwell and Hoodie presented the unthinkable. Depp, what are you going to do with this? It's Sugar Zero again. The guy has just got the golden gun right now as Mixwell. I think it's... this is cooked.
I am actually blown away by that, right? Because it's the perfect response, right? The change up of the Viper util towards mid. G2 want to dig a little deeper. And what I say, the timing is perfect for Nuki to start exploring that. You could criticize maybe it's a solo swing. They double swing that, maybe it come out favorably. But ZETA just punished them for it. Sugar, I actually can't believe it's just how quick he is to react to the fact that Avova's going to TP away. Again, you can't fault Avova.
Instant. No, Avova, I don't think Avova did the wrong thing at all.
He knows that pinch is coming from heaven.
Yeah.
You have to read that. What a round from ZETA. I am...
Show me this again. Okay. Again, just imagine this from Sugar Zero's perspective here. Instantly chases it. Instantly on that. He knew exactly what was up. In the meantime, the punish on the rotation. Oh, we've got a game.
Fantastic round from ZETA.
And this is down in the last 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Under the most severe pressure possible. Let's go. These guys, man. How can you not love watching this? Oh, what a game already. 5-5. This is only the first half. Brilliant series here. And again, Mixwell, can you pick yourself back up after a couple of times now? You've been challenged over and over again here.
This is interesting. Whether or not on the back of Mixwell showing a little bit of presence deeper in garage, if that's the reason we see this adjustment of Laz's utility, whether or not they even want to fight for this. I mean, Meadows immediately drifted away. Mixwell posted up pretty close with the tour de force. Nuki actually got the operator here.
This patience that they're showing.
But this is what I was talking about. Now they can successfully hold aim with these one-ways. The wall comes up in mid. Now G2, I mean, they're going to be feeling like the next 30 seconds or so, they have an absolute stranglehold in terms of the entire map.
I want to to see what the plan from ZETA is. If they've got any level of awareness of this, even just noting that, yes, okay, so the one-way can be here, we've got the wall here, we know what's presented to us within this time frame. Now,
problem being, late round hit versus tour de force, Mixwell finds one kill, he can literally stop this entire push, but they're going to counter wall mid.
Oh, this. Show us mid, please. The divide comes up, there's the wall, and away we go. ZETA! These guys are just... I'm loving it. It's still got to convert into a round. It's a great idea, but there's still 2 players on the side, but they're isolated, and Mixwell still stands. He holds firm on one, but a quick trade out. It's not going to be so clean this time. Meadow outdone! ZETA, these guys are unreal! And Hoodie tries to take his time. It ain't clean enough to be able to maybe capitalize on another off the back, but there's 2 players towards heaven. Spike now down, make it 3. And Depp has to be so careful. Quick pickups for G2 now. Leaving it all to Laz. Surely he gets checked here. Surely it's just par for the course. Nookie is not going to...
No way!
No way!
Oh my god.
Nookie! Heartbreaker. But G2 do get the round, but... Mike, just explain the round back to me. Just again.
The awareness wants to get, and now I think ZETA are reading into it. This wall goes up, they know that G2 are going to lean away from it. There's nobody policing that. Because they're prioritizing both extremities. It's actually beautiful to watch. ZETA's awareness of exactly where G2 are moving around on the back of no information. So I said this default's so deep.
Early rounds, right? You had Nookie patrolling on that wall, right? In middle. Early couple of rounds. Yep. But now we've seen him leaning over towards that A site. Noted that a couple of rounds now. They've seen that Nookie's been supporting over towards that A site. So they've already identified opportunity, but that's a Nookie special, isn't it?
Laz is just there with everything crossed in the corner. It's like, please don't clear it again.
You've done it once, it's fine. 6-5, we go again. And we now see that one way.
This is exactly what I was talking about here. Laz's utility makes it so difficult to hold. The showstopper's coming through, Lauren.
Oh, can he get out in time? Doesn't quite find the target it wanted, and 10 now just has to push forward, has to try and take that space, but Hoodie's already got depth. Outdone. Ramp is ZETA's, but there's so many players here now. G2 have hit that full rotation, and 10 gets out of there. Too many targets, too much danger, but they left B completely open. And look at them instantly evacuating back towards B.
I'm not sure if they feel as if G2 are just going to kind of sit tight for the time being, or whether or not I'm looking... I mean, Laz is 2 off his ult. Potential here to retrieve the orb, maybe, but there's a deep trap from Mixwell. And he's posted with the operator. They're going to be shift walking this. He's rewarded with all.
Has to be his moment to lock this down, though. How much more can they do with 3? And the right call from G2 there to hit that rotation when they did. Because the temptation maybe to linger around longer if they just hit the brakes. But no, that was a really nice mid-round call coming out. Looking for another adjustment.
He blinded him off shooting the trap. That's unlucky.
Very unlucky. Up through ropes seems the next option, but look at this. Hoodie is patrolling it. He hears so many players. 1, 2, make it 3. No, not today. And it is going to be closed out in the end by Meadow, but 7-5. Mike, what a half.
That's one of the most excruciating defensive half victories I've seen on Split in a while. I mean, ZETA just demonstrated a fantastic grasp of the macro on this map, and what G2 were going to be doing, and when.
I'm in love with this game. If this keeps to this caliber, I can't get enough of it. This first half has given me everything, every reason why people love watching ZETA. The first glimpses at G2. This is only the first half. I mean, I need to catch my breath. Let's hand it over to the desk.
Thank you very much, Pansy and Hypog. What an exciting start to that game. I know we hecking love 10s here, but I just gotta say, Brett, I hecking love 10.
Okay.
I hecking love 10 too.
Yes.
I mean, this guy is... He is the impetus for a lot of their strategies, right? This guy, he's the one who's supposed to be going first in a lot of their attack rounds over and over again, and it's important that he gets information on the setups and whatnot. And often he's just getting value when he really shouldn't be. I mean, it doesn't look like an impressive stat line in terms of his KD, like 9 kills, 11 deaths. But you got to understand, this guy is the reason as to why they're able to actually hard clear a lot of these sites when they're going in.
He's the one creating the space on the first rounds. I think it was all about him. Double satchel lane, just spotting exactly where Avoba was going to be waiting, but also the adaptation from G2, placing those trademarks exactly what they expected them to check to actually have that double effect. And the way that they both were, adapting onto it. Here's exactly what I was talking about. You know that Avoba is going to be there.
I mean, these are entries that he's getting, and he's winning a lot of these duels, Brent, against Nuki, one of the best race players in the world.
But it's super important as well now that they carry this momentum forwards into the next half as well, because statistically speaking, ZETA Division, they don't have great defense sides across their maps, and including their defensive setups. Sometimes they're a bit hit or miss. So whilst their attack rounds, like 10's popping off, of course, but you got to have more now as we're coming into this defense side, because it's not like you can just rely on 10 to just double satchel what into their spawn. Like, it's just not going to be the case.
Yeah, exactly. And they decided to go for that adaptation onto literally saying, we don't care about that first minute. We want you to use the utility, and then we make that decision, and it's going to be explosive. On the side of G2, they decided even to go for the double operator, being like, okay, yeah, I'll just give it to Mixo for the next one, but we need to stop the executes if they only going to do it with 20 seconds.
Yeah, it's been a really entertaining half so far. I can't wait to see the second one. Over to you, Pansy and Hypok.
Second half now. Beckoning, we are at 7-5, and I think the point coming up on the desk was actually quite valid that, yes, we've seen a good half from ZETA here, but now it has to translate into this side, which can be an issue.
For sure. I mean, I think it's fair to say as well, though, G2 have had flaky performances in terms of their attacking halves on split as well.
Yes.
So that's definitely a consideration to make. Mixwell, as he does go for a little poke into Mail. Not rewarded for it just yet. Ball coming up pretty late in mid as well. I think Mixwell's going to try and deal with that, or at least plant the seed that is still stacked behind us. G2 are actually leaning toward the four-man piece in towards B site, though.
Okay, let's see what Sugar Zero can do. Any potential damage? I assume he gets checked quickly. Oh, he's done well enough to get one, at least with the Frenzy unleashing. But a quick, good trade for G2. This could be even a third here. Pro does at least do a little bit of damage in the meantime, but it's all essentially favorable trades for G2, leaving 3 standing. The spike to be picked back up. And 10 did manage to drop down unnoted so far. So a little bit of wiggle room. Spike clear close. Boombot goes in. G2 in good enough post plants here. Oh, the Loba's just been destroyed, apparently. Mixwell. Better keep those hands feeling safe here. Crow's been given a chance!
Oh, he ran out of bullets. He actually ran out of bullets.
What is this game? How did it come to that?
Was everybody just watching the Boombot drift towards Avova? Just like,
chillin'.
By the way, it's coming. Yeah, I've got my headhunter out. I'm not shooting it. Again, Sugar Zero with the frenzy here. There's a real chance he actually gets the second.
I thought he could have maybe got another nice spacing there from G2 to at least make sure that doesn't happen.
Oh, we even called this was just stat. Yeah.
Mixwell didn't even look at him.
Mixwell was not
if he
in
dies,
the slightest bit concerned.
Look, as long as you get the round,
hey,
it's cool.
Yeah.
It's fine. No panic at all in a 1v1. Back towards middle. G2 instantly going to try and go for control, and again, any damage would be a bonus here, but ZETA bring almost nothing into this round.
Mixwell again, the front line for G2 in terms of this mid push early on. ZETA just kind of doing laps right now. They've headed over towards A. They're headed back as 5 towards B. And just classics to work with. The same, pretty much cut and paste, execute onto B site here for G2.
Okay, sights there's the pop flash and the TP away, and actually they're being a nuisance. Nuki quick to react though, and Avova quick to try and farm it up. Gets punished, good trades again. ZETA, any damage is golden here. Now Laz can't get any more done. Kept safe in the N3 stand, they get across the line. It felt dicey though.
Where was there was a Phantom in play. Nuki got it, I was just saying. I was just waiting for the UI to update. I was like, I hope they can get behind the wall and get that Phantom, but do manage to retrieve it. This Mixwell, I mean, 3 away from the tour, of course, but it's one you maybe look towards here when G2 did suffer a few casualties. I mean, with what he's been doing in the early round, he can literally do the same with the Headhunter, so not too concerned about that. But leading the pack for G2, 14 and 8. You can find some more success here on attack. G2 knocking on the door of double digits already.
Absolutely.
An opportunity here to, again, completely reset ZETA's economy. Mixwell again poking for this first blood.
I really like it. I guess another great use for Chamber, the capability to get away quickly. You can go for that almost overzealous attempt and then get away scot-free. However, ZETA do have the substantially stronger purchase here. Again, Boombot, once again. Laz this time, he's okay though. And on the other side, there is still Nuki with the rifle. So keep that in mind, this isn't a completely toothless purchase, but it is a little weaker. All trying to be handled. And ZETA being patient. And they have to be here. G2 trying to test the waters in middle.
Saw the that works. Next step is getting another trap burnt to just confirm Laz's presence at least.
But look, on an island on the other side is 10 though.
Well, he's primed with the paint shell, but as he spammed off the corner, I mean, he's not going to be able to put it in towards the orb.
It's so close up ramp as well. This is such a dangerous way ZETA are playing. G2 were a second away from having such an advantage, but the guillotine comes down! Dep!
And they know exactly where Mixwell is.
Gorgeous! Gorgeous work! He went for it all himself, gets punished in the end. Mixwell, yes, he's recovered a rifle. Maybe there's some hope for him to do a bit of damage, but with only 12 seconds, that's about all he can achieve. Is now surrounded, shut down. ZETA, lovely round as Dep. What a performance.
They only lose one. A massive tick in the box here in terms of
Anyone have any splits?
boost the economy. See how G2 sit. Shouldn't be looking too rough, that's for sure. But what a round from Dep. The first two line up for him, but over and Meadow as well. Meadow going for a cheeky run and gun with a Spectre. Again, just, it's the reaction from ZETA. The flash coming through just to make sure that Dep can at least find the third and fourth kill. Really good stuff from them. Mixwell actually won off the tour de force. I didn't spot that in the previous, but a Guardian coming through for Hoodie, and not an awful lot left behind this purchase. An opportunity here for ZETA to close the gap.
That's the essential part of this round now. Laz was noted several times in the previous round, and you can see the priority list of him is now so much higher, but Avova's gone for the just mark your man sort of play here, pushes himself up towards ropes. And Laz is just on the other side of this.
I was going to say that smoke's about to drop. I didn't. Yeah, interesting. I'm sure if Laz thought he was going to have a favourable peak there. All will be dealt with pretty quickly. If Dep finds a kill, he's got the res, but it's on the other side of rope, so...
He's got an army in front of you, but maybe he can take the ball down again! This guy is unreal! The pinch is coming in, he seems all too aware of that. Backs away slightly, Avova now left to his own devices, all isolated, looking lonely. And he can't quite get to his teammates, but he can cause a problem. A 3v4, numbers still favourable towards ZETA, but the timing not quite there. TP time, trying to get out of danger, get over towards the other side. And the right choice to be made, the safe point to be had.
This is rough now, but Dep can use the res. He has to come back through ropes. He can get Les back up, and they'll have the Viper util. I mean, if they can get ahead of the curve here, cut Meadow off, I mean, Avova's already going hunting.
And Avova has to, though. He has to buy time to allow for Meadow to get a little bit close. That's
Avova!
it! That's the money from Avova! I told you this guy has clutch potential every single day of the week, and now a 2v2. He's made this so much more feasible. This was a tragedy in the making, and Laz gets the timing right. Meadow trying to find one on the way through, but Dep, he just stays alive. Just about keeps his health up. And now with the clock ticking, it's all about timing. Meadow says, screw it, I'm going to try and get through towards that player who's trying to defuse. Gets off the fight. Gorgeous work, Meadow! The timing! I think Meadow might just have done enough here, buying the time, playing them at their own game. And yeah, sure, the kill comes in, but what a round.
It's so back and forth between these two teams right now. I mean, ZETA do everything right to hold on to be heaven, but G2 flip a 2v4.
Avova, him pushing deeper in CT is huge for them. Like, even this, like, it was like an army in between him and that potential res, and they just,
I mean,
that's cool.
The bait is perfect off this boombot, by the way.
Unreal.
Again, Crow and 10 almost seemingly aware of the possibility still, but Avova punishes them. Ice cold as well. Not even breaking a sweat. I was.
Yeah. I've just been pacing.
I mean, like I said, that the wall was actually perfect to cut Meadow off in main there, but he caused so many problems.
G2, man, scrappy as ever. Things you love to see between these two teams. 10-6. If you're just tuning in, you have missed a belting couple of rounds coming into this. One worth to watch again, catch up on. But it's only getting started.
Is it a response now? Is give Laz a second player because G2 are pressuring so hard towards mid, not necessarily following through on it, but initially here.
Well, Mixwell, right? Like, how many times have we seen him go for this? And he's two with the ult this time.
There's now three people just staring. The Rolling Thunder actually going to get posted towards Sugar. on B
But he
site.
can punish rotations.
I mean, they closed the gap already. They're going to stun up Mixwell at bottom mid. But it's a 2-for-1 elsewhere.
Yeah, they're just desperate to try and get players across. Mixwell was almost posted into this position, try to hold them on the way through, but they've done well enough to get to this point. But you're right, they still have so much to handle on the site itself. 3 players well set up, and there's a time limit. Meadow, yeah, just caught out straight away. No sweat on that one. You see Mixwell going back around. Needs to rejoin the forces. 10!
No way!
Oh, it's surely 2! Only gets 1 HP! How's Hootie alive? A slither of health, but Crow's closed the gap already! Mixwell now with a 1v1! He has to push him! Crow! He falls!
My God!
Mixwell holds his ground! And gets the round!
If you are not doing well, keep trying.
I need to check the damage on the showstopper.
It had to be, it was 6 HP!
That looked like it was 2 every day of the week. The problem was I was looking at it hit. Oh my God.
Ow!
Oh my God.
Rito, please. How have you done this to them?
I'm looking at this, I'm thinking the wall's up. If they find both kills on site, Mixwell's blocked off. He's got the tour de force, but he's cut away from site.
Sick, Oscar.
11-6.
And the purchase gets scrappier for ZETA. Look at it. A dirty Bucky in the midst.
You never want a dirty Bucky.
No, you never want a dirty Bucky.
Oh, it's the worst kind. Laz on the other side this time tries to just get out of ropes. Doesn't like it in there anymore.
Needs some breathing space.
Oh, quick trade. I thought he could have maybe got the rifle away, maybe just scurried it through, but you're not fighting alone. Dep's still there. Crow's still there.
I mean, Rez Online, 10 still has his paint shell here, so if he can go for this Rez, they're actually going to try and get the... Trying to go for the weapon. Punished by that, Dep will fall, and the wall broken as well. Sugar Zero. Pushing through with the Bucky. Seeker's invested as well. This is interesting here from ZETA. Again, no round is lost in their eyes.
There is never a round there's not a chance in. The timing on this could be everything.
You will not kill my ally.
It looks like they've managed to at least evade a lot of those dangerous angles, but there is still a threat, at least of 10. I wonder how much he can get done from this though. Crow tries to get a little bit of attention on the cross, gives a couple more seconds into the pocket of 10. Cross comes in, spots one, sees him in CT, looks to pull the trigger, gets punished. Not clean enough, and Nookie on clean-up duty. This is 12, could be beckoning here. Spamming the smoke, but we know where Sugar Zero is.
10 seconds
Great
left.
pick up on the first, but the rest is very, very hard to achieve.
Gun here.
Just get a little upgrade here, but yeah, Meadow already split away from the rest of G2. Should be able to either catch this cross or be last piece of the puzzle. There you go. We'll find Sugar. Again, I actually thought 10 was going to drift across towards mid to potentially punish that Rez.
Match point.
The G2 now find themselves on map point. ZETA, opportunity to buy back in here. I mean, Dep's actually only going to have a Guardian to work with. Who else? No real gaps in utility. No boombot on 10, actually. G2 looking pretty comfortable now. Yep. Showstopper online as well. And actually an opportunity here to dial up the pressure.
Oh, yes, they should. See how they come into this one again. Mid-control, high on the priority, and Nookie unleashing. Headshot in the back and gets put to bed. There's Sugar Zero still going to be standing and trying to actually push a little further forward. I quite like that. Now, yes, we did see a player kind of filling that void before, but not going to expect it, and actually going to hold a lot of space towards middle. Ult over towards the B site. Thank you, observers. Always quicker than me on it. And now 5 still standing for ZETA here. God, they're really trying to prioritize middle this time. They want to fight on it.
Well, I mean, this is G2 time and time again. ZETA are actually trying to challenge these early round protocols. Yes. I mean, trading back and forth, sure, but I don't want to see ZETA give away too much here. I mean, they can potentially lean a little heavier elsewhere on the map with that Viper's pit towards B main, so Mixwell going to catch some crucial information on the back of this wall, and actually should have good timing to get behind it. Over though, straight up into the smoke, we'll find Dep.
He's trying to just peel away into a nasty position to clear as well. Flash comes in, Crow gets punished off the back of it. Meadow now going to take that space, but Sugar Zero's waiting!
Sugar!
Looking real sweet with it. Backs away, going to outdo Mixwell as well. The guy is just feeling that timing just right. Unfathomable presence from him. And there's still life. There's still rounds to be played out.
Wow. What a clutch from Sugar. Just absolutely stops G2 in their tracks. And the hit looked really good from G2, honestly.
Yeah.
This is initially where we saw Nuki a little ahead of the curve. We were saying they could opt for a little bit of a pace change here, but Sugar absolutely puts them down. A big sigh of relief.
Beautiful.
They cling to life just yet on split. Actually going to force the timeout, yep.
That's another tick in the box, right? Because you've got G2 now going, all right, let's not get complacent. Let's not kind of forget the amount of danger this team can create. Now, of course, G2 have been in the driving seat this half, though. I think that's quite clear to see, sitting at 12. And they've looked quite solid in how they've been approaching it. But there has been danger. This is the first time we've seen that mid-fight now being challenged.
Stark contrast there between the coaches.
Love the music.
Yeah, lighten the mood a little bit. We're on map point. Yeah. This one's making it in the highlights, isn't it?
Beautiful moves, mate.
But whether or not, I'd say that pace change, again, now that ZETA are so conditioned to want to stop G2's kind of freedom of movement almost, at least towards mid, and at least relieve some of that pressure towards Laz.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not G2's answer is to then dig a little deeper, stack a couple more bodies behind it. It was just a paranoia with Nuki, whether or not the showstopper was the end result there, but he's not able to close the gap quick enough. Be a rifle thrown in the mix here for Nuki. I mean, he's got the credits anyway to back this up.
Yeah, why not? You're buying down to the same amount as everyone else. Keep the economy even. And the hero rifle in his hands can do a lot. And we see what the adjustments are across the board. May not see it in full effect, this round at least, but when we get that full purchase coming in.
Well, Laz still has no fear whatsoever. He hears the TP, he's like, I'm swinging it.
He's been given the hardest role in this half at least. Right now is just dealing with this constantly. And yeah, Dep's been doing somewhat of a similar thing, but you can see the amount of attention and the amount of priority they put towards clearing that position. But this is different from G2, but again, they are working with sheriffs. Just that one rifle, of course. Looking for maybe a little burst. Gorgeous flash. Timing's great.
Yeah.
That's an instant information finder. You can maybe consider moving Laz over now if you want to draw the attention in. TP coming through.
They're giving this up. Again, they're respecting the showstopper. They know that ultimately they have the inventory advantage coming back in, especially after the showstopper's burnt up.
Good read. And Nuki's still your danger man. So he leans towards CT to try and make the difference. He's got support though. He's not alone. He will not stand alone, but Mixwell falls. So Nuki has to back away, but he takes one with him at least. That's Sugar Zero gone, who's been impactful to say the very least.
Good Meadow as well, this late mid-lurk as well. Nuki would deal with the Trailblazer.
Look, Nuki's just taken all of that space.
Yeah.
He wants to be the one to challenge everyone. And I said it, this man with a hero rifle can do hero-like things. And Nuki might be doing it all for G2. Unreal way to close it down in match.